Welcome back. You are still watching Morning Live. Now, South Africa's Banyana, the defending champions of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, will meet the Lionesses of Teranga in their WAFCON quarterfinal clash at the Honneur Stadium in Oujda tomorrow night. Kickoff is 9 p.m. South African time, with the game live on SABC 3. And of course, you can also catch it on SABC Plus, with the build-up starting at 8:30 p.m. Now, to talk about this match, we've roped in FAR Post Mthokozisi Dube. A very good morning to you, Mthokozisi. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Vasiwe, and good morning to the viewers.
I want to start with speaking about the opposition that Banyana come up against, because you look at the Lionesses of Teranga finishing third in their group, which many thought was the group of death, with the likes of Zambia as well as the host nation Morocco. What do you make of what they've been able to do in this tournament? Because many will say they shouldn't have lost their last group game against Morocco, but it was just a error made by the goalkeeper that ultimately cost them the 3 points, and having to wait to be one of the two best placed third finishers.
Yeah, look, I think I'll go back to their performance against DR Congo, where they won 4-0, scored 3 goals in the first 22 minutes of the game. I think that tells you that they are a dangerous team. They do have what it takes to hit any opponent, So I think going into that game, Banyana would have to be really wary and, put out their best performance to beat Senegal.
And you look at Banyana not having the ideal type of performance in the initial stages of the tournament, in their opening game as well as their follow-up game. I mean, you saw them against Ghana, against Tanzania. A lot of people thought that was just going to be a walk in the park for Banyana, but finishing 1-1, giving Tanzania their first ever WAFCON points. When you look at how they wrapped up the group, a very dominant performance against Mali, how do you see them coming out against Senegal in this quarterfinal clash, particularly given that we are now officially into the knockout stages?
Yeah, look, I think maybe the start of the tournament, they were obviously finding their feet. I think that performance against Ghana, that 2-0, not very convincing. Drawing against Tanzania, I think the coach had made a number of changes. I think one of the key changes being that of the goalkeeper, replacing Andile Dlamini with Kaylin Sweat. And then in the final game, I think she brought out her best guns, and they showed why they are champions. So I think they need to continue from where they left off against Mali and be ruthless in front of goals, and get as many goals as they can, because goals win you games in such competitions.
And I mean, you look at the WAFCON 11 for the group stages of the tournament, and you've got 3 South African players there, the likes of your Refilwe Jane, one of the co-captains. You've got your Bambanani Mbane, you've got your Makama. What do you make of the performance that the team has put out? And until perhaps you can tell us, from what you've watched and what you've seen, what are your concerns with this Banyana team moving into tomorrow night's clash against Senegal?
Look, I think there's quite a number of other players that I felt would make that CAF 11. Of course, I think the 3 you've mentioned have stood out, but Andile Dlamini has done exceptionally well. I think she's really been incredible. Ramalepe as well, I think, has been exceptional as well. I think going into the game, the quarterfinal tomorrow, Banyana need to avoid complacency. They need to approach the game with caution and with respect. Because like I said, Senegal have what it takes to hit any team. They've got a front line that can breach any defense. They've got Mama Diop, Ngwena and Diaye.
Captain fantastic, and Mama Diop there.
Yeah. I mean, we saw them scoring 3 goals within 20 minutes. I think that tells you that they are clinical up front. So I think Banyana would have to be very cautious as they go in, and they've done very well to keep clean sheets in 2 games where Andile Dlamini has played, and I think that would be very important, just to make sure they shut out Senegal, but most importantly, be able to take their chances up front. I mean, in the games that they did, the game against Tanzania and against Ghana, they wasted a lot of chances. So it will be important for them to convert the chances that they create.
Indeed. I just want to quickly get your thoughts, Mtho, on tonight's quarterfinal clashes. You've got a Nigerian team coming up against the Copper Queens of Zambia, two teams that have really just come onto the field and showed us what they're made of. You've got a Nigerian team that is yet to even concede a goal in this edition of WAFCON. How do you see that one playing out, and which team do you see winning that quarterfinal?
Yeah, look, I mean, Nigeria are record 9-time champions. They really have to come and show in this competition that they still, have it. And I think they've started off very well. They've not conceded a goal. In the group stages, they've scored goals. We saw them scoring 3 goals against Tunisia, I think, which is really, really important in this competition. But Zambia as well can't be written off. Barbara Banda coming in makes such a huge difference. And I think when you look at how they've played, I think they've collected 7 points in the group stages, which is, I think, fair enough. They did play that draw against Morocco. I do think it's going to be. Look, this feels like a final before the final, and it's anyone's game. But if I were to pick one team that I think would win this one, I think Zambia have the grit to go all the way and win this game.
It will be interesting seeing the teammates coming up against each other, the likes of your Oshowala and your Kandananji, who play for the same team. Let's talk quickly Morocco, Mali. They're at this quarterfinal clash tonight. Who do you see winning that one? Just give me the nation that wins and the scoreline.
Yeah, look, I'd put it on Morocco, the hosts. And I'd say they'll win it 2-0.
All right, that is Mthokozisi Dube from FAR Post, just speaking all things about the Women's Africa Cup of Nations tournament currently taking place in Morocco. Tonight we get the quarterfinal stage of the competition underway, and it is Morocco that will be hosting Mali in one of the quarterfinal clashes. And in the other one, we will of course see Nigeria, 9-time winners of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. The last time they lifted the trophy was in 2018, before South Africa won it in 2022. They take on Barbara Banda's Copper Queens of Zambia. Of course, this is the nation that beat Nigeria in that 3rd place final in 2022 to win the bronze medal. So that will be a very interesting matchup. And of course, we're building up to the big one tomorrow. South Africa's Banyana, the defending champions, that will be taking on the Lionesses of Teranga. That's where we'll leave it for now.